Jasmine again. I'm back with another video. Living alone at 24 years old in my own apartment. I pay all my own bills. I pay all the utilities, everything. I pay my dog's bills. He has bills as well. Being fully independent, living in an apartment by myself at 24. All right, so first off, I want to start off on a really positive note here that I am going to be showing you guys my full apartment tour. If you guys can tell, I really take pride in where I live. I do think that where you live is going to be pretty much where your energy resides. It's going to determine whether or not you have a positive experience day to day. This is a milestone for me, and I'm just really, really proud of everything I've been able to accomplish thus far. Now, I do want to get into some of, what it's been like for me living on my own at 24. I've been living by myself, I would say by the time I was 21, 22, I was kind of living with people. I was doing like room share situations. It's really, really bad, but I met a few roommates off of Craigslist back when I was super, super young. And then, one time I lived with someone I knew, but that didn't really work out. I do think I really highly recommend, some people have no issue just transitioning from, living with a family member, living with their parents. But for me, it was a good character development for me to really just kind of learn what it felt like to be by myself. Because when you're by yourself, you may have people that come over every now and then, but you have to be comfortable with being alone quite a bit. When you're not at work, when you're not with friends, when you're not doing something, you have to just be okay with being alone. And that's easy for some people. For other people, it takes a little bit of adjustment period because you don't have anyone to talk to. You don't have anyone to just kind of kick it with and chill with, right? For me, that was a huge adjustment. For that reason, I'm very, very happy that I started living with people first. Would I do it again? I don't know. I don't think I would really want to live with anybody at this point in my life if I was not, seriously involved with them or, moving towards marriage. That's just my own personal belief system at this point. But when you're younger and you're just like getting out into the world, I think it's actually a really, really good idea to kind of get your feet wet and realize, okay, I'm on my own now and I'm going to be independent, and this is kind of scary, but you're in this on your own, kind of winding that back into what I was just saying. Oh my gosh. But those kind of room share situations, they weren't really for me, right? I didn't want to live with anyone. And so those situations didn't really pan out. What I ended up doing though is saving a lot of money at that time. I was working at, I'm not working there anymore, so I guess I'm a little embarrassed to say where I used to work. And I believe at this point I was 22, 23, somewhere in that range, 22, 23. And because it was a couple years ago now, so probably about 22 to 23 years old. I was saving everything I could save, like literally everything, putting it all away into savings. I bought my current car during that time. I just saved up so much because I knew I wanted to do different things than what I was currently doing, room sharing and like not having any money saved and just not having anything going on really. Trying to pay off student debt, which I did do at 24 as well. I'm gonna link down below how I paid off my student debt at 24 years old down below in the description, so you can go check that out. Overall, that's how I got to being in this situation where I live currently. Getting your first apartment, it's kind of like a big deal, right? Because you want to go for it, you want to just get it free and liberated, and it's like an achievement, right? Like to, number one, do all this by yourself. I think it's a little bit underrated how, much of a boss move that is to actually not do it with someone else, but to be your own individual, fill out the rental application, which costs money as well to do, to send in all the documentation you need to show that you have money to support where you're going to be living, to be able to pay your bills, that you make enough to do it every single week or every 2 weeks. just like the anxiety of all of it. It's a lot, right? And I know that's what I wanted at the time, to build my credit history and all of that, and just have rental history. Overall, my experience is that you have to budget. Like, budget is such a big deal. Maybe when I was out and living with people in a room share situation, I didn't think about it too much because it was like small change. Even with the minimum wage job I was working, I was paying literally nothing. Like, I paid about I paid maybe like $150 to $200 a week. That's it. And that's like literally only, that's sometimes less than $800 a full month. So it really wasn't much. And everything else, like, you know, people would pitch in for food and all that stuff, and it didn't turn out to be a big deal as far as financial. At 24 years old, oh my gosh, I am so glad I thought of this. Budgeting and just finances, like, it has literally hit me this year. It's a lot of money. You have your rent, you have your car insurance note, you have utilities. In my case, I have to pay utilities on top of my rent. I have a dog, so he's got bills. Just overall food, groceries, you know, just keeping your car up to date, and like maintenance, like gas, like all of that just eats up a lot of your paycheck. Even if you have a good job, like, that is a good chunk of money. I think the advice I would give someone else who's, you know, I don't know, maybe my age or so, or just needs advice in general, with living alone and all of that, and feeling overwhelmed, feeling like it's like a lot to deal with, because clearly I think the underlying theme is like, it's a lot of responsibility and a lot of stuff you got to do on your own. It's not for everybody. Like, not everyone can handle this. Not everyone is mentally wired to be fully independent. Some people do need help, and that's okay too. Like, not everyone's the same. So don't guilt yourself, and don't feel like you're like worse than anyone because you can't do everything yourself. Like I said, it's difficult. But my challenge to you would be, if you feel like it's overwhelming at times, I mean, you need affirmation to just kind of keep moving, is like, you know, just try and push yourself. See how tough you really are. Like, if you feel like you're gonna break, you know, just strengthen yourself and just kind of treat it as like a test to see how much you can really take. See how much responsibility you can take. I feel like it's all a mental test to kind of build you. And one thing I'm not into is giving up. About 30 minutes time here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.